Hello, it's been a few days. Today is Saturday. Of course, I'm gonna make a video on Monday, but it's been a minute, so I figure I would do some updating on. So today I was going in back to the DEXA scan spot and DEXA Fit here in Sacramento, and I was gonna take a VO2 test and a resting metabolic rate test, which the VO2 test basically gives me a good idea of like how well my body is pulling like oxygen from the blood when I'm doing any activities, right? So in this case, it would be like exercise. And what this VO2, what how they explain it to me is like the most important cursor to your longevity. So it's a really good test to do to kind of see how you score, right? Your respiratory system, your heart rate, like how everything is like working for you in your body. And so what I specifically wanted was, yeah, sure, I'll take, just to get an idea where I'm at, but also what this test is giving me is like what exercise does my body need in order to burn fat, right? Which is right now my objective is to burn fat, right? And so burning fat and actually having a really high VO2 level are two different things as well. So I can burn fat, lose weight, and it may not affect my VO2 levels, right? So mine came in as a whopping poor. So there's very poor, and then there's poor, and then there's good, excellent, and whatever this is, like, I guess you're the bomb.com. But anyway, my score came in for a female 40 to 49. I had like a 21.7, which let me turn the camera around. Hold on. So this weight is the weight that I went when I did my DEXA scan. So that's what they have in the system. This is not where I'm at right now. And they did not take my weight. But today is the test date, was today. And these were my numbers. One thing they did say is that my heart rate recovered really well, which means that it's doing its job. I just need to get my cardiovascular system in a better place. But my first objective right now for me is to burn fat. So here are like some targeting areas. So this is the chart that they came up with. So my VO2 level was 21.7. And if you can see here, female 40 to 49, 21 to 24.4 is poor. And so he said where you want to be is in this good zone. Good is good, right? And then of course anything above that is awesome. And so this is my target heart rate for fat loss. And so this is literally like me walking slowly, not even tripping, just kind of strolling along. He said that me doing that an hour, it needs to be at least an hour for it to like be significant fat loss in the session. But he said an hour of, pretty much strolling, just taking a walk, just going out of the house, taking a 30-minute walk out, and then walking back, taking 30 minutes back. And there you go. I have an hour. An hour on the treadmill might be a little bit more difficult for me. I find that I've got to figure that out. So, because sometimes I just can't. I mean, it would be just way more convenient for me to hop on a treadmill than it is for me to go out on a walk. But we'll see. I'll figure out my life. And then this zone here really doesn't do anything for me. If my heart rate's between 112 and 144, doesn't really do anything for me. And then if I want to increase my VO2 levels so that I can be in this good zone, I would need to do intervals of this. So getting my heart rate up between these two levels and then letting it go down. And he said it doesn't need to be a long time. It just could be for 30 seconds or a minute to get the heart rate up that high and then bring it down. And I could do that like in a 15-minute session. So I think this is kind of like when we think about HIIT, high intensity interval training, that's what will help me increase my VO2 levels. The resting metabolic rate, I had to be fasted for 5 hours, and I forgot about that. And on my way there, and I was like, I feel like she said something about needing to be fasted, but I couldn't remember, and I already screwed up because this morning I had my coffee with my meal in it, and so that kind of like, so I had to reschedule. But now I have the information, and also for just if you wanted to know, you also can't drink for 24 hours before doing that. But what that gives me is a baseline in terms of like, if I did nothing but sat on my ass all day, how many calories would I need to know? Well, with that information and with knowing how much lean mass I have versus fat, and with the ideal fat percentage that I want, plus this information on like how to, what exercise do I need to focus on to burn this fat off of my body, I would know how to calculate what my true like calorie intake needs to be, what a deficit would really look like for me, right? So if I did nothing at all, I would want to know, if I did nothing, my body needs 1,200 calories per se. Like, let's say 1,200 calories. But if I were to, so if I just ate underneath 1,200, that would put me in a calorie deficit. That would allow for my body to release some fat, right? There's other stuff to that, right? Like as we're getting older, we're needing a lot more protein. Maybe not a lot more, but we're definitely needing to focus on protein in terms of in our diet to maintain our muscle mass. Because after a certain, age, you stop kind of producing what they call like a human growth hormone, which definitely helps you maintain your muscle mass, your bone density, all of those beautiful things that youth brings you. But like you need to focus on protein, doing strength training, like putting some weight behind it to keep your density, to keep your muscle mass, because you will naturally start to lose muscle every year. That's why you see, as people age, they start to, what appears to look like they shrink, because the bones do get less dense, and your muscles do lose a percentage of muscle every year. So you want to kind of like try to not lose the muscle. So the strength training, the protein is what I love doing. Actually, it's not a problem for me. So I'm definitely focused on protein in that. And then I am actually getting a little extra protein. Like I have some naked protein that I add to my shake when I come back from workout. Now I have been having a pure protein bar when I leave the gym, because I find that I want to try and get that protein into my system as fast as I can for that protein synthesis, because I would have activated my muscles. But that being said, it may be that pure protein might be slowing, even though the macros are good, it might be slowing my my weight loss down, because this past week I probably lost maybe a pound. Again, I'm not too worried about it because I know I am lifting, and I know I'm doing some other things. So I know that there's some recomposition happening with my body. I can feel it. But when you're doing this and you're drinking and you're eating these puddings and all that, you want to see that scale move. So I definitely have to. I feel like there needs to be some refocusing, because I'm finding that that exhaustion, the diet exhaustion, is happening. I'm daydreaming more about food, and there are more difficult times that I'm experiencing. So I think what it is that I'm pushing up against one of those moments when I want to quit. Those moments in the past where I would have like gone off my diet for multiple days and then gave myself an excuse as to why I can do that, even though I made this commitment to myself to stay on this particular diet until I reached my 190-pound goal. And so working through that, being on these videos and doing this is also helping me move through that. So um, I'm staying on this diet. Like I said, I've burned the ships, so there's nowhere for me to get on in my mind. So I've got to push through. I got to push through these hard times, and just find some joy in it. I mean, it's satisfying when I put my clothes on, I feel better. I feel like I look better, all of that kind of thing. I do have some things coming up. So this week, I didn't record it, but I'm going to. And she said she would really be down with it. I wanted to record today, but the guy, he's one of the owners. I could tell from his disposition he didn't really want to do that. He really wasn't engaging with me, like the other person did when I went to the DexaFit. So I'm hoping that the next time I go for the RMR that I'll have her. And then a few months later, I'll do it again. I'll record it so you can see all the stuff. But I went to an enlightenment here in Sacramento, which focuses on like red light therapy. And I don't know, there's a lot of information, a lot of benefits to red light therapy. Anti-aging is one huge one. But it's a whole bunch: inflammation, pain, weight loss, all the things. Red light therapy is really good, and there's like virtually like no side effects whatsoever. And it's a wave of light that the sun naturally has, and they're like, anyway, look it up. There's a lot of information all over the web, all over for it, and I'm going to be doing that for the next 6 weeks. My objective is not so much the weight loss thing, because I'm doing my thing, right? I'm working out, I'm eating, doing my Hernreid diet, but I'm doing it because what I want to do is make sure, what I notice about losing weight now that I'm 48 is that I'm feeling like there's a little chicken skin, like a little something happening, and I want to make sure that, or try to minimize like extra skin. So if I can stimulate collagen, which red light therapy does, then perhaps I can help to kind of tighten it along the way as I'm losing weight, just tightening it. So, but I signed up for 2 sessions, 2 sessions a week for 6 weeks. And I'm just going to kind of see how I feel, but it does a lot of other things too. It helps your sleep, helps just, in terms of like your circadian rhythm. It helps with, just a myriad of things. Like, check it out. And it's not super expensive. And like with anything natural, anything you do, it's not a one and done. Most people, they want to pay for something, like, and they want this result, this thing, right? Like, that's supposed to happen miraculously from one session, right? And it doesn't work like that, right? None of it does. Okay. So when you think about like doing any of this stuff, it's like, you got to make a commitment to do it. Otherwise you're not going to see the results that you're looking for. Medicine, my friend and I were talking about this yesterday, but medicine doesn't even work that fast, right? You have to take it. You got to take it for days, and it builds up in your system, and then it starts to work for you, right? Vitamins, the same way. You can't take, I don't know, whatever vitamin you think is going to help you and expect to take it for 3 days or even a week and see whatever results you're trying to look for, right? You got to take it and kind of let your body adjust to it and see how it goes. So that's what I'm doing with this. I'm going to do it for 6 weeks, see how I feel. And then we go from there. But I am gonna record at some point. I don't know, maybe this week or whatever. So check in. Anyway, Happy New Year, guys. I hope you set your goals for the year. I'm very excited about it, and I shall share along the way.